Good morning, students. Welcome to the third class of Human Resource Management. I hope you people are taking down the notes from the screen. So far, we have covered the meaning of human resource, the need of human resource in a particular organization or in a particular business. Then we have tried to understand the meaning of human resource management and also the definition given by Flippo, and we have also covered the objectives of human resource management. So in today's class, we will try to understand the scope of human resource management. So, scope is nothing but the area covered or the subject matter of human resource management. Okay, it includes what are the things that come under your human resource management. So, the scope of HRM is really very wide. Okay, the Indian Institute of Personnel Management have given the three aspects of human resource management. One is the personnel aspect. So, the personnel aspect is concerned with manpower planning, recruitment, selection, placement, transfer, promotion, training and development, remuneration, incentives, etc. Okay, so all these things comes under your personnel aspect. Then comes your welfare aspect. Okay, so welfare is nothing but well-being. Okay, so human resource management should deal with the health and safety condition of its employees. So all the activities that are related with the health and safety measures of the employees of a particular company comes under your welfare aspect. Okay, it deals with working conditions and amenities such as canteens, rest and lunch rooms, housing, transport, medical assistance, education, health and safety, and recreation facilities. Then comes the industrial relation aspect. HRM works to maintain cordial relation with the union members to avoid any kind of strikes and lockouts to ensure smooth functioning of the organization. Okay, so this particular aspect covers union management relation, joint consultation, collective bargaining, grievance, and disciplinary procedures and settlement of disputes. Okay, so these are the things that are covered under your industrial relation. Okay, in order to maintain good relationship with the employees, what are to be done? Okay, how to make the employees happy, those things are covered under your industrial relation aspect. So the scope of HRM in modern days is even more vast and has been continuously enlarging. In today's scenario, the scope of human resource management includes all the objectives of human resource management. Okay, organizational structure of human resource management, then strategic human resource management, development of its employees, wages and salary administration, compensation is also a part of human resource management, maintenance, motivation, induction, industrial relation, participative management, and all the recent developments are the part of human resource management. Okay, so these are the things that is covered under human resource management, and these things whatever are included in your scope, we are going to study in detail in the upcoming classes, that is in the upcoming chapters. Okay, now let's move on to the functions of human resource management. Okay, so so this particular topic, whatever is the functions of human resource management, it is really a very important topic from your examination point of view. Okay, you can expect this particular functions of human resource management in your 15 mark section in the examination paper. Okay, so the human resource management functions are broadly classified into two. Okay, one is the managerial functions, then is the operative functions. So in today's class we will study only the managerial function. Okay, we will study the operational functions in the next class. So managerial function includes planning, organizing, directing, and controlling. Okay, these four functions are also the functions of your management which you have studied in the subject principles of management. Okay, then comes your operational functions. It includes procurement, development, compensation, integration, and also maintenance of human resource. Okay, so now let's move on to the first managerial function. Okay, so managing people is the essential task of a manager. So first one is the planning. Okay, So what is planning? Planning is nothing but deciding in advance or thinking before doing a particular work. So you people have studied about planning. So planning bridges the gap between where we are and where we want to be. Planning is done for future. We'll see how it is linked with human resource management. One of the primary function where number, okay, your number means how many people are required, and then type of employees. Type of employees is nothing but for which person, for which position you require the human resource, okay, whether for marketing, whether for production, whether for sales. You need to know that what is the exact number of people required and what should be their qualification and in what position you want to hire them. Okay, so this is human resource planning. You have to perform this particular function before performing any other human resource function. Okay, means what? Before you are going for recruitment, before you are going for development or anything or training anything, you have to plan in advance. Okay, so what are you planning here? You are planning how many people are required in this particular organization. Okay, so when I'm saying about planning, it is not only for a particular period, that is for the current year. Okay, as a HR manager, I have to think this year how many people are required. Okay, what will be my HR requirement for the next year, then what will be in the future year. So everything will be decided now itself. Okay, so that is your human resource planning. Human resource management planning helps management to collect, analyze and identify current plus future needs within the organization. Okay, so current needs are also identified and even your future needs are also identified. So in HR planning, it involves determination of what to do, where to do, who is to do the work and how the results are to be evaluated. So everything will be decided in your human resource planning. Okay, what should be the qualification, for what position we are hiring the people, what are the skills they require, everything. Okay, then how we are going to measure the result. So everything will be decided under your human resource planning. Then comes your organizing function. Okay, so we'll try to understand how this organizing function is related to human resource management. So what is organizing? Organizing is nothing but the people you have brought to the organization. Okay, what work they are going to do. Once you have hired the people, once you have recruited the people, now the people are in your organization, you have selected them. Okay, so now what is the work they are going to do in the particular organization. Okay, so the allocation of task and duties. Okay, so what are the tasks given to those people, that is your organizing. Okay, it is concerned with allocating duties and establishment of authority and responsibilities among the members of the organization. Okay, so allocation of duties, what are the works to be done. Okay, then who is going to supervise whom, what is the responsibility of the employees. So everything is allocated over here and the task is allocated on the basis of their skills. Okay, as per their skills, and activities are integrated towards the common goal. So when the task is allocated to every member based on their skills and activities, so these are integrated towards the common goal. So organization's common goal may be increasing the market share or maybe making a new product successful. So these organizational goals keep on changing from time to time. So whatever the goal is, we have to make sure that the task is given as per their skills. Means work should be assigned according to the abilities of that particular person. Now suppose if somebody is good in computers, then work related to computers should be given to that particular person. If somebody is good in marketing, okay, he should be given a job related to marketing. If somebody is good in accounts, then he should be given a work in the accounts department, likewise. Okay, so whatever the skills they are good at, they should be given with those skills only. If not, they will not work properly. Now suppose if somebody is good in computers, if he is given a job of production, at that time we cannot make them to work efficiently. Okay, they cannot give their best because the work is not assigned according to their particular skill. Okay, so it is really very necessary for the HR manager or for the company to assign the work as per the skills of the people or the human resources. So you have to organize the people based on their skills and competencies. Then the next function is directing. Okay, now you have recruited the people. Okay, now you have recruited, you have assigned the task, everything is over, but now they will need some directions. Okay, so this is the time where they require leader, supervisor, who will lead and guide them from time to time during the trouble if any confusion arises. So people will require the guidance how to start and end a particular work. So this work is done under directing. Okay, so it is a process of motivating, activating, leading and supervising the people. So here leadership. Okay, so who will be leading that particular group? So how to motivate the workers? Okay, whether positive motivation is to be given or negative motivation. Okay, so everything comes under your directing. So positive motivation is nothing but maybe appreciation, giving them incentives, bonus, etc. Okay, negative motivation is given when the employees are not working properly. Okay, if they are not working efficiently, at that time negative motivation, that is demotion, maybe cut in the pay, or maybe decreasing the salary, demotion. So these things include in your negative motivation. Then and supervising the people. So why will the supervisors be there? In order to guide the subordinates. Okay, suppose if any confusion arises, if they can't understand any task, at that time the supervisors will lead them. Okay, then it includes all those activities by which a manager influences the actions of subordinates. Okay, it includes issuing orders and instruction. So first in directing, what they will do is, for each and every employee they will assign the task. Okay, they will give them order and instruction how to do that particular work. Then guiding and supervising, so they will be guided how to do that particular work. Okay, then inspiring to increase the productivity. Inspiring is nothing but motivating them to do the particular work. So motivation, according to me, it is really very important. Okay, because human beings are not machines. Okay, they require some kind of motivation to do that particular job. Because now if same job is to be done every day, it is kind of boring task to the people also. So the organization must think new types of new ways of giving motivation to the employees. Now take the case of your bank. Okay, so in banks normally they will have to do the same routine job 365 days. Okay, so the entire year they have to do the same task. So what will the banks do? They will make job rotation. Okay, so they will be rotating their job. One day one will be the cashier, other will be the clerk. So this particular job rotation motivates them because they are doing some newer jobs every day. Okay, so that is motivation. Motivating maybe in some other terms also. Then last comes your controlling. Okay, controlling is nothing but whatever you have planned and implemented, whether it is successful or not. Okay, so maybe everything has gone as per the plans. Okay, but this happens only in the rare cases. Most of the time there will be deviations, either it will be more or it will be less. So at this time your planning, whatever you have planned, comes into your picture. So after planning, organizing and directing, performance of employees checked, verified and compared with the goals. So there will be standard setup. Okay, at the beginning only the employees will be given the standards. After that the employee will perform that particular job. So after performing, the final results will be there. So the results will be compared with the standard. Okay, we'll take the example of a particular salesperson. Okay, so now suppose a particular salesperson is given a target for a particular financial year. Okay, so at the end of the year they will analyze what is the actual sales made by that particular person. Now suppose if the actual sales is greater than the standard sales, whatever the standard was given, if it is more than that, at that time they will try to analyze what might be the reasons for this. Okay, so how did he do, how did he achieve the target that is greater than the standard, how he has done that particular sale. In case if it is lower than the standard, even then the employee's performance will be measured. Okay, so what are the reasons that that particular employee could not meet the given targeted sales. So everything, okay, everything will be analyzed. So what is the performance of the employee, why it is deviated, okay, what are the reasons for deviations, that is analyzed under the controlling. So these are the 4 managerial functions of human resource management. So I hope you have understood these particular things. If you have not understood, please let me know. So that's it for the day. We will discuss the operative functions in our next class. Till then, take care. Thank you.